You think you outsmarted me? The mighty Muldoon? I don't think so, Yoked Girth.
Stay tuned for what happens next on Yoked Girth. Now a word from our sponsor.
Kids, are you ready for a new wild and wacky Punch-O fruit flavor? Introducing Apricot. It's a punch to the gut. So stop by, fill up, and make sure you get your Billy Hog hot dog before you jet away.
Good morning, Brook Hollow. Today is October 20, 1990. This is your news. We have a special breaking report. The police department has released information that more local teenagers have gone missing. They were last seen earlier this week, and the only connection between the teenagers is that they are all students at Brook Hollow High School. This could be linked to the disturbing trend of other possible abductions and missing teenagers from our otherwise quiet town. If anyone has seen the teenagers or has any other information, please contact the police department. The mayor of Brook Hollow has put a curfew into effect for anyone under 18 starting tonight. Now to other news. In the business world, prominent practical technology signs a few deals with.
Whoa, Pete. Oh, looks like you really stepped in it this time. Just where in the world are you? Hello? Hello? All right, Pete. Remember your scout training. Step one, get your bearings.
Welcome to Grounded. Grounded is a amazing survival game focused on Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, but, you know, kind of mixed with the Forest, and I've been following it throughout its development, and now that it's fully released, I was really excited to go ahead and play it, and since I've started this wonderful YouTube channel, I've been able to actually start this series as a YouTube series rather than just playing it by myself. Oh, hello. We'll go ahead and keep this. Oh, people on my Anduweevil. Where's that aphid go? Keep you too.
A common example of the Formicidae family.
Okay, I'm making enemies. Let's not get into combat before I even have a weapon. But with that, we're gonna beat this. There we go. Yeah, we'll kill you too.
Detective Weevil, hot on the trail.
There we go.
Nose for the truth.
So, with that, we are going to get started. Oh my god, are you kidding me? Stupid lawn mites. So, this series is just going to be mostly focusing on just like my gameplay. I'm not going to try to do a whole lot of cutting out and editing of things, because I know personally when I watch these type of videos, I like to see the kind of process. However, if there's anything, if you're like, oh well, you know, we're not really interested in you running across the backyard, then, you know, future episodes I can edit that part out, right? But this game has a lot of dialogue and a lot of reading and stuff like that, so there will be parts where we get to listen to those and such. And speaking of, we're going to investigate our first little field station here, which does have a Spacer Safety Test. Category Spacer Safety Test. Date August 8th, 1989. Time 1:54 p.m. Location Tully Backyard. Supervisor Scientist Dr. Wendell Tully. Results: Power fluctuations are within an acceptable range. The machine itself continues to operate as expected. Weatherproofing of the platform components is holding up quite well. The pylons, however, are a finicky trio. Maintaining beam angles requires regular obstruction removal. The art is simply too alive for precision instruments. Oh, Euclidean space, you fickle mistress. Reminder, check embiggening cells, diagnostics before end-of-day protocol. So as we can see here, someone named Dr. Wendell Tully is doing science.
Well, logic
of
dictates
some
that there are
kind.
probably more of these stations. If I keep searching, I'll find some clues. Or someone.
We're gonna go ahead
There's
and
probably more going on with that
craft
machine I found in the clearing. I should go check it out some more.
some crude rope, and we're going to analyze that as well. So analyzing materials gives you new crafting recipes and allows you to go through and actually craft new gear. I'm not going to bother going through all that. So we're going to make ourselves, I think, a pebblet hammer. And we'll make a pebblet axe in a second. I know we're going to need the hammer later, or at least in a minute, when we go and investigate this mysterious machine. We'll grab a couple more resources. And make ourselves a pebblet axe. So, with this, we are going to go investigate this machine. I assume made by the Dr. Wendell Tully. Sure!
Curiosity killed the tiny Pete.
So...
Well, looks like this thing hooks up with those lasers. I don't think that worked properly. It seems like the machine needs all 3 lasers to function. Think there's a way to fix them?
So, this game, like I said before, it's very similar to The Forest in my opinion. And I say that because the combat and the building mechanics is very similar. Combat being you're mostly focusing on you know, fighting and perfect blocking, right? Whether you perfectly block and take no damage, or you don't perfectly block and just take reduced damage. It adds a bit of spice to the combat that I personally really enjoy, right? It's not too intense, it's no Dark Souls, but it's just complex enough to make it feel exciting and interesting. And I know there's a cassette player up here, so we're gonna listen to that. I've gone and chopped down the grass blocking out laser. We gotta go check out this one. So we're gonna listen to this tape while we go check it out.
I was a fool to have ever doubted myself. A fool like Klein, like Kaminsky, like Schmechter, like all of Ominent. I am here in the backyard. Down in the backyard. I mean, I am speaking to you from the backyard. I am tiny! I should gather my thoughts. This is a momentous occasion. Wendell Tully official log, 89.08.05. Recording as I take my first steps into the miniature world. The sights are unbelievable. The textures, the way the light falls upon every surface, the subtle patterns in all of the objects that surround me. The grass! Even common lawn grass looks like a structure from an alien world. Wait. What's that sound? The very earth is trembling. Over there, what could it be? An ant! My God, today, the world has changed forever.
Nice. We're gonna go inside this cave
Whoa,
and
why don't you just
check
stay
it
over
out.
there, small red
It is
insect?
very dark, and I know for mobile users, you will not be able to see anything. So we are actually going to go research, get ourselves a torch real quick, and we will return to that cave. Check it out. So it wants me to craft a torch. Do I even know how to craft a torch? Oh, I do. Well, never mind. I guess I don't need to go back to the research station. So, with that, we're gonna go into this cave and check things out. So far, it seems to be surrounded and infested with mites. The mites are the least of your worries when it comes to this backyard. quite the bottom of the totem pole when it comes to enemies. Very easy to kill, but they can gang up on you, and if you're not good at blocking or not paying attention, they can do a bit of damage. There we go. Easy
Those
peasy.
mites are no match for the might of small Pete.
Oh, Pete. Pete. But be honest, you can pick up to 4 different characters. Pete, it's the best one. Other characters, they're fine and all, but Pete's my man. Pete knows what's going on. There we go. We'll go ahead and get our way in here. Actually just overload our inventory with rocks. So we got ourselves a sturdy quartzite and a sturdy marble that we can't break. So we're gonna need a tier 2 hammer.
Something's afoot.
But what we can do is collect this slime mold and collect this scabby over here.
Additional flavor scheme available.
Which will allow us to go in here and change the color scheme of our UI. Just gonna get a bunch of slime mold. We can use that later on for some free torches and such. So, now that all of our lasers are good and fixed, we are going to go back to the mysterious machine and press the button again. So, one thing to be aware of is water. One thing to be aware of is you gotta pay attention to your surroundings, because there's a lot of really large bugs that hang around the yard, and you gotta listen for things like grass being moved around and such to kind of get an idea if they're approaching you or not. I should collect a bit of clovers while we're here, because I know we can make a bit of clover armor in a minute, or just use it for future chests and construction, lean-tos, such like that. Alright, let's push the button. Let's activate this.
My bad?
Not the best sign, but we do now have an idea where we're wanting to go. Now the bees flying around, you can fight them. I should peep them. Next time I see one, I will. You can get bee armor, and I really like ranged weapons in this game. I like the bows and the crossbows and such. More useful when you're in multiplayer, less useful when you're by yourself. Mainly just because once you shoot a bug, they're just going to come right at you. And you know, you can't really block with a ranged weapon like you can with the melee one. Oh, is that a bee? That was kind of far away though.
Taking a look. Mark that one off
There
the
we go.
list.
Got it. So you want to peep creatures because you can go in here in your data and you can see their weaknesses, resistance, and weak points. So you can like kind of go ahead and take a look at all of them. It's like that pollen. This game is definitely one of those survival games where you end up hoarding a lot of things. You end up collecting just tons and tons of materials, and you're gonna have to make a lot of storage to make up for it. Hello? I hear you.
Hark! Yonder lady
Hello,
with the clover
ladybug.
forest. A
Now,
white errand.
this is the old anthill. It's not discovering it for me. I don't know what it wants me to do. Alright, well, I'm not going down in there, because there are soldier ants down there. My suggestion is, when you start off this game, is to, within the first day, go investigate the explosion, right? You can build your first base if you have time and such, but it's best to go investigate the explosion, only just because the explosion is here at the oak tree, and,
Brussels sprouts.
well, people have arachnophobia. I suggest you look away. Inside the oak tree are a couple of wolf spiders. Now, wolf spiders are the worst and will mess you up until pretty later in the game. However, on the first day, they don't wander. They actually sleep through the first day. They do come out during the first night, so be aware of that. But you should be safe during the first day to just wander around the oak tree and collect some acorns, some sap, things like that, and get to the lab in relative safety. Now that doesn't mean they're gonna sleep if you go in there with them, so I don't suggest it. But you can walk around. I'm gonna go ahead and collect a bit of mushrooms real quick before we go into the oak tree. You know what, red worker ant? So if you look, red worker ants, they're weak to stabbing, and you stab with a spear, so... Come here. You can hold R to huck your weapon as well, by the way. But there we go, we've gone ahead and killed our first ant, which we're going to need later on, because we're going to want to go visit the Red Ant Hill. And if you have a full set of ant armor, or your specific ant armor, right, the Red Ant Hill, Red Ant Armor, the ants will see you as one of their own. They will not attack you, unless you steal their eggs. Well, it looks like we've done a number to this building. And it looks like we are in the Oak Lab. I'm gonna listen to this tape while we do a bit of research.
I have isolated the source of the particle irregularities. They appear to be a byproduct of the shrinking process. If I adjust the machine to account for their existence, it should be the key to the de-shrinking, expanding process. Burgle, please bring up the readings for the irregular covalent SNPI 42Z particle traces. Ugh, that name is going to get tiresome. And while you're at it, rename all references to the irregular covalent SMPI 42Z particle to raw science.
Order received. Raw science identified. Does it require cooking, flipping, or grilling?
No, none of those. Categorization.
That answer is not permitted, according to health code standards governing the handling of raw food items.
Alrighty, so that screen showed off the other labs in the yard other than here in the Oak Lab. We got the pond, the haze, the hedge, and the black anthill. So we're gonna help out Burgle here. He was talking in that tape a second ago, and we're about to sit through, in my opinion, is a little bit too much of exposition and dialogue. It's a lot. Just be aware, you're gonna be like 6 minutes.
Burgle, acting science manager for this project. I am also a robot.
Good thing is though, Burgle
is
amazing.
Very disorienting
so it kind of.
But hopefully I can explain.
Yeah, let's chat with Burgle.
I'm sure this all must be very disorienting for you, but hopefully I can explain.
Please do.
I suspect you were miniaturized by Dr. Tully's spacer device. Why are you here in the yard? I do not know. In fact, I cannot seem to recall much of anything. A recent power surge has caused a massive raw science containment explosion. This lab, as you can see, is a disaster. And what's worse, the explosion has disrupted my computing power. My memory banks are corrupted. Sorry to pile on the bad news, my new friend. How can I be of service?
Let's start with how come I can't remember anything.
It seems you and I are both a little discombobulated. Given my best calculations, your biomass has been subject to covalent spacing reduction via interatomic energy extraction. In other words, you have been shrunk. It is likely this was achieved using Dr. Wendell Tully's spacer platform, patent pending. Shrinking can be a traumatic experience for tiny human brains, and memory loss is a known side effect. Hopefully your memory will return in time.
Let's see where we are.
You are here, in the Oak Lab, built and used by Dr. Wendell Tully to experiment on all things small. This is the base of operations for conducting experiments in his yard.
Well, who is this Dr. Wendell
Dr. Tully
Tully?
is a brilliant scientist and inventor. He is also my creator. My initial protocol was to serve as the short order cook of the future. However, I have been recently promoted to acting science manager to assist with his experiments. No doubt my previous work experience has been invaluable to Dr. Tully. Although, now that I am processing it, I have not seen him for several weeks. And now I cannot recall where he went. It must be my corrupted memory banks. To return to your prior size, you would need to successfully activate Dr. Tully's spacer platform. Unfortunately, my readings indicate it is inoperable. It appears to have suffered several malfunctions from the explosion. I am sorry, but it appears you may be stranded here for some time until we find a solution.
Let's say nothing.
Well, being silent will not get you home. Does your vocal synthesizer require maintenance?
Can we fix the spacer?
Ah, that is a great
getting
idea.
quite late.
Let me run a
I
full
should construct some
diagnostic
Pete, stop
evidence
talking.
and see what we need to do to get it fixed up. Processing. Processing. Memory fault. Code 408B3000. Ominent OS script runtime error. ARG. I am sorry
Arg.
again. It appears I have sustained more damage to my memory chips than expected. Without those memories, I do not know how to repair the spacer.
Well, what are these
Dr.
memory
Tully
chips?
used two types of chips to back up my memory. Auxiliary chips are small capacity chips used to store project data. If you find these, I should be able to help you learn new survival recipes. Super chips are special, and they are gold. They back up full directories of my memory system. If we are going to fix the spacer, that data is bound to be on a super chip. I suggest exploring the other labs in the backyard. Return with any memory chips you find.
There are other labs.
Dr. Tully has built many more labs throughout the yard. Each lab is used for various experimental procedures. I can upload their locations to your Scabby. Stand by. Processing. Processing. Error. Files not found. Code 632C404. Cheese and fries. The lab locations are missing from my memory banks too. But we are in luck. I was able to retrieve the location of one of the facilities, the Hedge Lab. The Hedge Lab is the observation center of the yard and used for research on arachnid webbing. You will find the hedge near the house if you head southeast. The lab is located deep inside the hedge, sending the coordinates to your Scabby. Try to find the Hedge Lab first, but there is nothing stopping you from searching the yard for the other labs. Except, of course, thousands of angry, hungry insects. That reminds me. Dr. Tully locks the important labs with biometric scanners. You will need access for any chance of success. Head over to the ASL terminal and place your hand on the biometric scanner near it. Give it a moment to sync your signature into the mainframe. Once you are registered, you will be granted access to the ASL network of computers too. ASL grants access to daily work items, nay, tasks, nay, quests, yes, quests. I will reward you raw science for each completed quest. In my science shop, you can trade raw science back for survival recipes from experiments that Wendell conducted when he was first exploring the yard. Log on to the ASL terminal over there and see what is available. Unless you have any other questions, you really should get started finding those chips. And try not to die out there. Have an exponentially great day!
Now, I always was a bit confused at first, because I was like, well, why would he lock all these really important science things behind raw science? You know, if he wants us to succeed, you think he'd just give it to us when we, give him a chip. But it's because he has to give us an incentive to go do, fetch quests for him. But, by the way, these little pink blobs that are raw science, you pick them up and spin them in his shop like he explained.
Raw science in my hands.
And over here should be a chip, order number 1.
Verbal transcription unit 87.9.5. Order number 1.
Robot, I need you to monitor these power fluctuations and inform me if they exceed acceptable limits.
Hello, my name is Verbal, and I will be serving you today. I specialize in cooking, flipping, and grilling.
Grilling? A feature useful only to your obsolete burger-flipping brethren now consigned to the scrap heap? I need you to monitor these readings. And isn't it redundant to specialize in cooking and grilling?
Understood. Appending monitor power fluctuations to my prime directive list. Deprioritizing grilling.
Good. Now get on with it.
Reprioritizing grilling.
Alright, so I've gone ahead and activated the biometric scanner.
Diagnostic.
Do you mind? We're going to check out the ASL terminal. First of all, we got 3 quests. We have Chip Sleuth Grave Robbery, which is in a hill to the west where you start this quest. Straight through a rooted room gets you closer to the tomb. Past a tunnel of red rests a soul that is dead. Down the hole lies your goal. That's talking about the Red Anthill, which we will hopefully maybe get to today, depending on how long I want this video to be. Great Oak Beacon. Really easy. That's just going to be on the light in front of the Great Oak Tree. And Trowel Gulch is in a little gulch that has a little gardening shovel. So immediately with your starter raw science, it's just you get smithing station. It's going to be useful later on. Cooking 101 is useful, but you don't need to grab it just yet. Multi-story bases are also useful. That should be on your list. But what I suggest to do is actually save at least, I think it's 1,000 raw science for the upgrade you get from turning in the Red Anthill chip. Because when you turn in the Red Anthill chip, you actually get the ability to have an upgraded torch, which is super useful because those upgraded torches last forever and is really, really good. We'll come over here and grab this raw science. And we have another tape here and a tape up there to listen to also. Also in here is a Mega Milk Molar, which we really don't need to worry about. Just, if you ever see a Milk Molar, gold or white, just keep an eye on where you've seen it, because when you get a Tier 2 hammer, they become really useful. So we're going to listen to this.
This morning, I installed the borrowed lab modules. Another one of my forgotten inventions from the early days. I had such grand notions back then. The Kinder Science Mini Quick Little Chemist Lab educational toy for children. But no, Wendell, we can't possibly put hydrochloric acid into the hands of children. The lawyers will never agree. It's a good thing I never told them about the Bunsen burners. Odd that Ominent has been using my toy pieces in this way. I digress. The lab network is now up and running in the backyard. I'm planning to dedicate each one of them to a different function. Main power will run through here. The Oak Lab is the center of operations for the backyard. The second lab is nestled into the hedge. Such wonderful views from up there. Side note, I'm worried that Ominent's shoddy manufacturing of the lab pieces will cause them to fall apart over time, but they will do for now.
Alright, we're going to listen to this last tape as we make our way out of the lab.
One success after another! I have returned Virgil to his original size! It appears that my new raw science containment field is working at 99% effectiveness.
98.5%.
Right, Burgle, right. However, as Burgle indicates, there is some minor, insignificant raw science leakage. A note for another time.
Noted.
But I see no reason to put off a human trial. I believe there should be no issues. But audentes fortuna juvat. I am ready to prove my creation's full potential. End recording. Burgle, I'd like to record some messages for my family.
Oh, when you discover someplace new, it cuts off the end of the tape. It cuts off audio tapes. But that was the last sentence anyways. We can go ahead and craft. As we've discovered a lot of new things, we're gonna go ahead and craft. Oh boy, there's so much. A lean-to. And by the way, I was being really cautious because, as I said, the wolf spiders will make their way out. Oh, ladybug. They will make their way out of here during the night. We're going to set our respawn point here, and we're going to sleep our 8 hours. We get this really neat cutscene, by the way. As we move into the next day. Alrighty. We're gonna go ahead and into our next day. What else do we know how to craft? Bunch of stuff. So I say, first things first, we go do the Burgle quest for the Great Oak Beacon. And then we can go from there on what we'd like to do. I think I'm gonna go ahead and drink this juice over here. How's our inventory looking? Pretty full? Yeah, pretty full. We really don't need one silk mold. We can ditch that. Just for reference also, right here underneath this can, you'll find another milk molar. Very useful once again towards the end. And I'm thinking about building my first base up on one of these little stumps, as it's a pretty good place. Oh, I do want some ant parts. Come here. Oh, I timed that a little too early. That's okay. Go ahead and use up bandage, heal a little bit. Oh, we're getting more ant parts to make our armor. I think we can go ahead and make our way up the Great Oak Beacon. Do we have any clovers? We have 6. I think that should be enough. I keep pressing C to crouch when it's control. Whoop. I heard a noise. Let's see if our wolf spider friends are asleep in here still. Yeah, they're both still vibing in there. That's good to know. Now, be aware, there are other wolf spiders around the map.
Your flight path is not clear.
And, that doesn't necessarily mean you're safe. We're gonna go ahead and set this one to... we'll just set it to a flag marker. We'll do brown. Okay. We're gonna kill a couple of these gnats, because they can help us get our bow later on. Come here.
Raw science. What does it even mean?
Anyone else? Alright, they're all flying off. There's one gnat body. Where did the other one fall? Come here. Don't run away. Come back. Heal up again. Now these granola bars, there's a limited number of them, right? You can only find them in certain places. Super useful because they obviously give you food, but they also heal you, which is very useful when you're in combat and you need a big burst healing. But from here, we're gonna go ahead and I think make our way back to the base wall and do a bit of researching. Oh wait, actually. Here's my thought process. I think time-wise, I want to get a little base set up, and then we could do the Red Anthill next episode. I think that's fair, because the Red Anthill is going to be a whole thing. That's going to take a little while, and I don't want this video to be too long. I think 40 minutes is already going to be pretty darn long, so we're going to go ahead and get started on building that base. I will be right back as we get up to the stump. So real quickly, as I'm chopping things down, before you can actually start constructing like proper walls and floors and all that stuff, you are going to need to chop down a dandelion and a grass blade, right? And what you're going to want to do is carry at least one weed stem and one grass plank and make your way to a resource analyzer, the little things that we've been analyzing all the stuff we're collecting with, and it'll allow you to analyze both of these and it'll allow you to do some basic construction. Alright, so I think we're going to real quickly use, actually we can go ahead and get Red Worker Ant as a new quest, but I think we're going to get multi-story bases. Now I said to save your raw science, but you should get some more raw science as you do the daily quests, but multi-story bases is going to give us access to stairs, which we are going to need to build our house where we're wanting to right now, or at least make it look semi-nice. Alrighty, so I done got the stairs done, and I think this is my idea of what I want to do. Just make a little 3x3 square scaffold on our stump here. Now you could just build directly on the stump if you'd like, but I want to have a nice even floor, so what I'm going to have to do is all those dandelion tufts I'm going to have to try to chop down without getting killed by bugs, which will be fun and interesting. But I do know that there is a angry stink bug over here somewhere, as well as evil mites. And those webs indicate that there is an orb weaver nearby. Yep, there's our stink bug friend. So we're going to avoid him. So, while on my journey to finding some weed stems, some more dandelion tufts, I found Spade Gulch. By the way, it's right here where I am on the map. And I believe there's a bombardier beetle that lives here other than mites. I'm trying to see him so I can peep him. Ah, there he is.
New one for the bestiary.
Now, once again, a bug you don't want to fight just yet. They're not too hard of a fight, but you definitely want to get some better weaponry and tools before you do, or you just be really good at blocking. But we're going to go ahead and finish up our house. Alright, final touch. So I've gone ahead and, by the way, you didn't miss anything. All I cut out was me just running around and absolutely decimating this axe as I chopped down both dandelion tufts and also some grass planks. But with that, we've gone ahead and finished up our house. At least our temporary base. We can, of course, add some walls and windows and make it look nice and pretty later on. But for now, got ourselves a roasting spit, our lean-to, a workbench, and a chest just to throw some stuff into. Actually, we're going to need that and that so we can research it. All the rest of the stuff you can throw in there, you know. We can make. Worry about it later. That clears up our inventory by quite a bit, actually. But with that, I think I'm going to end today's episode here. We've gone ahead and made our workbench, and we are good to go to start working on the next part. Next episode, we're going to be focusing on our red ant hill and getting that grave robbery burgle chip. And if time permits, we will go from there. Probably make a set of red ant armor, maybe a red ant club, etc., etc. But don't forget to like and subscribe if y'all haven't before. If not, you know, I appreciate the views either way, and I'm just happy to see people enjoying the content. If you have anything you would like to see specifically in this series, if you want to see me do more building without me cutting it out, you know, just put that in the comments, whatever. But I hope to see y'all in a future video. I appreciate y'all being here, and I'll see y'all in another video. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.